in Brufut, near to Ghana town. Yes, obviously in the Gambia.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So sorry guys, we are at the school at the minute and the children are here. So if there's any interruptions, don't worry about it. It's school life. It's school life.
You know, we do those core curricular subjects. So we do the maths, English, science, IT, and geography.
Okay.
I must say though, even with the English, we are coming from a perspective that most of us here are actually coming from African peoples. So even with the English, we want to use some African texts. Even if we're doing our handwriting, we might be saying some positive, we might be writing positive affirmations.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's me, Aisha May. How are you doing? I forgot I'm wearing a mic. I don't need to shout. Today I'm at Tehuti Maat School and I love so many things about this school. Not only do I love one of the teachers, but there's so much great stuff at this school and I really wanted to come here and sit down and talk and find out more information, not only for myself, but also for you guys so that you can find out about the school, you know, also if you're going to be moving here or you're already in Gambia, then potentially you can enroll your child or children at this school. So I just want to find out as much information as I can and then we can just generally just have a talk about. Anyway, so I'm going to introduce Grace.
Hi.
Okay, so this is Grace.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm here with Grace and Grace, you are the one that opened up the school?
Yes, I am. I started this school, I think it's just under 3 years ago now.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know that. Yeah, because I think that I got wind of it that you had a school, but I wasn't sure what it was called or where it was. And then I'm sure actually you sent me a friend request on Facebook, but I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not accepting any friend requests unless I know you personally or have met you. So then I was like, oh, so that's the name of your school. And I think possibly even through my auntie, I think she knew as well. But yeah, so where is the school located? And
okay, so the school's located in Brufut, near to Ghana town. Yes, obviously in the Gambia.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so sorry guys, we are at the school at the minute and the children are here. So if there's any interruptions, don't worry about it. It's school life. It's school life. So actually we were just talking off camera because we were just talking about, I was telling Grace that I actually was a teaching assistant and you also was a teaching assistant too. So you have that experience from previously before you even came to the Gambia, I assume, right?
Yeah.
So how long were you a teaching assistant?
I was a teaching assistant for a lot of my early 20s, actually 18, 19, 20, 21, that kind of age. Whilst I was going uni, it really helped me because it paid really well. And I've been doing that since then. And then I, in my late 20s, opened up a school of my own. Well, it wasn't just my own, but other people were involved also. But we opened up a school in the Brixton area. And that school was for, you know, older children. Started off, we were working with children from the age of 14 to 19. And then we expanded and started doing more from 11, I think, to 19. But we've been doing that for a while.
You were good. I was always scared of the big children.
Oh, the big children are lovely to work with.
Not now, but
yeah.
But at the time, because I was telling Grace how I started as a teaching assistant by agency, and whenever they used to ask me what age group do you want to work with, I always used to say, just the small ones, reception, primary school. I don't want to go to secondary school, even though I did have experience at secondary school as well. But I was like, just the small ones, please. But even sometimes the small ones can be difficult too.
Yeah, definitely. The big ones I think are actually sometimes nicer to work with because they've reached the age you can reason with them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I hear that. Yeah.
About anything that's going on, their behaviour, you know, their work. You can actually sit and really talk to them. Whilst the young ones, you know, a lot of the time they're up in their feelings or emotions, whatever is going on for them. It can be harder sometimes to get through to them.
Yeah. And it's weird because since, I suppose, just having more experience as an adult myself and knowing children at different age groups, I now see that more than when I did at that time. Because I think I was in my mid-20s. I think it was like 24, 25. When I started like TA work and working at schools. Found nurseries very boring, no disrespect, but I did. But yeah. Anyway, so what made you want to actually open up a school in Gambia?
Okay, so my own personal journey as a mother and working at schools from a young age, and then, you know, qualifying as a teacher and all of that. And then I had a very close friend as well who done the same qualifications as me and the same and some experiences. Just talking with her and us talking together and raising children, decided to want to homeschool my children instead of putting them into the system. So what had happened is, you know, I had been running a school in Brixton and I'd found that most of the children that were going through a lot of problems were actually children from the African Caribbean groups of people. So, you know, then it makes you start to look into why is that the case, and then I just kind of felt like the curriculum and just the way things are taught and what is actually taught wasn't necessarily, you know, grabbing the attention of some of our students and, you know, didn't really cater to them or to, you know, their kind of life. So anyway, I decided to homeschool my children. So I homeschooled my children, and from they were old enough to go to school, I've been homeschooling them. And then I moved to Gambia. So when I moved to Gambia, I was looking for a school for my children. And I found that some of the good schools and the international schools or the private schools were actually very expensive. For me anyway. Not for everyone. And then some of the local schools, sadly, they didn't have resources. A lot of them didn't have very good teachers, you know, just because they were under-equipped. They didn't have the money to necessarily afford qualified teachers. So, you know, they kind of have teachers that are not qualified that may have experience that kind of fill those spaces, which needs to be done, you know, when we don't have the actual people on board, because like we know, there's a brain drain a lot of the time here in Africa. So the ones that have been qualified to a high level usually go off to the West. So leaving behind some of the teachers that maybe weren't as qualified as them. So I just decided to just open up a school. It was mainly for my two boys to be able to go to school with other children and learn a more diverse curriculum than that we were used to in the West. So and I also found that here they were teaching the same curriculum as they were doing in the West. You know, obviously it differs a little, but mainly the same thing, emphasis in the same areas. And I just feel like, you know, we just weren't doing the children justice in terms of, I just feel like some of the time the curriculum that we offer can be very restrictive, doesn't allow for their creativity, doesn't allow for them to be imaginative and have their own thoughts and feelings about things, have their own ideas, you know. So just decided to start a school that was a little bit more balanced that way.
I agree, because that's partly why I actually stopped working in schools, because the last school I worked at, I'm not going to name it because I don't want to name and shame, but it's not, the school itself is there, but it's changed, the name has changed. I'll tell you after, but I'm not going to name and shame online. I don't feel like that's necessary. But it was just, I remember again, like where we were talking about some of the children, the demographics of the children that were finding it harder to be in school and all of that kind of thing. That's exactly what I was finding at the school that I was working at. And there were these two particular children that were just struggling, and they were both really intelligent people, boys, at the time. But they had a lot of things that was going on at home that was encroaching into school as well. But that wasn't being looked at. They were just expected to just sit down on the carpet, listen and follow instructions, which, as you say, it's not the way certain people can behave in certain, especially when they're children.
Yeah.
They're young to expect them to just sit, robotically do the same thing every single day. There was one boy, he was so intelligent, but he kept getting into fights. And I remember one time saying to him, okay, he wasn't in my class, he was in the class next door. I think we managed to actually get a rapport. And I remember saying to him, if you behave X amount of times, I can't remember, I had like some kind of chart or something. I said, I'm going to buy you this science thing, to just try and help him focus on something else. And he did try, but for him to be able to succeed was just hard for him. He wasn't able to, and I just really felt for him. And to this day, I wonder what's happened to him, so it just annoyed me. And every time we would have like teacher training days, I'll just sit there and think, so we're just doing some more government stuff now. It was just like, I can't do this anymore, I can't sit here and feel like this is beneficial for some of these children when it isn't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was just like, do you know what? I need to move on. So, but I still think of certain children that were there that,
Me too. Me too.
I do think about a lot of them, and I do wonder what's happened to them, because now obviously they're going to be in their 20s, I think, some of them and stuff like that. So I do wonder, like, where are they, what are they doing?
What they do, who supported them? Because sometimes, especially when you're working as a teacher support, and you might, work with a particular child or particular children all the time, and you know that they really rely on you, and they really trust you, and then when you leave that space and you think, oh, who's looking after things, how's this little one getting on,
exactly,
and then every now and then you might, I used to every now and then see one of my students and just be so proud of them, so that is the same for me. So I just feel that sometimes like you said, we've got children here in this school that can be extremely disruptive. But those are actually sometimes some of the most intelligent children. And that's what I found years ago. That these disruptive children, a lot of the time they were being disruptive because there wasn't anything to engage their brain. So even when we are here now in Gambia and we have children that are extremely disruptive, it's not for us to just resort to punishments. And it's like, why is this child being like that? And 9 times out of 10, within a few weeks, you can really kind of work out who that child is as a person and just find ways to tackle that behaviour. And then after a while, they kind of calm down with the behaviour anyway, and just kind of come into themselves, not having to try to find attention from somebody or start any kind of madness because, they start accepting themselves. Because everyone else has accepted them. It is like that.
I think it's really great, because even when I was at school, when I was at secondary school, well, actually, it started from primary school. So when I was at primary school, I loved primary school. Loved it to pieces, but I just found it as like a little playing ground. I wasn't taking it seriously.
Exactly.
I was just playing and living my best life, So when it came to the SATs, my teacher sat down and told me, Aisha, this is just like your spelling test, so don't worry too much about it. I was like, okay, cool. I don't even worry about my spelling test. Why am I going to worry about that, right? I was very lazy when it came to spelling and even reading, I was just lazy. I just couldn't be bothered. I just found it long. So anyway, I was just like, okay, cool. So did my SATs test, didn't take it seriously. So then that had a knock-on effect. When I went to school now, they put me in the lowest groups and they didn't let me come out of those groups. I was there from year 7 to year 9 and I was bored. I was bored to tears.
Wow.
And I used to have like some of the students at the time that were supposed to be in those groups sitting next to me, copying my work. And I would tell the teachers, like, this girl was just copying my work, like, and I would be bored. I remember even being in religious studies. Everyone knows here on my channel, I'm not religious, yeah. But anyway, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, whatever. We had to write a summary of something. I remember I wrote it within like 5 minutes or less than that. And my teacher was like, Aisha, why aren't you writing? I was like, I finished it. She was like, really? Came over, looked and was like, oh yeah, you have. Dude, this is not hot. Like, I kept trying to tell them, I'm not supposed to be in this group. I'm not supposed, they wouldn't listen to me, left me there for 3 years until year 9. And then they moved me. But when I tell you, if I wasn't the person that I am, I would have done left school and lost interest. Yeah. But it was just because I knew I wanted something out of life. And that's what I always used to say, even at the age I was. I know I want to do something in my life. Otherwise, I wouldn't even care because they don't care. The school I was at, all the children that were like showed that they were so intelligent, they used to push them because obviously, I don't know if you're watching and you know, schools are a business at the end of the day. So all they're doing is they're trying to hit their quotas so they can keep getting the money that they need to get.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So that is exactly the type of school I was at. So the fact that you have opened this school up and you've got quite different curriculum that you're going by and everything. So yeah, actually let us know what is it?
Yeah, it's just it's not completely different.
Yeah.
So we're trying to cater to the world that we're living in now. So obviously we know that in the world we're living in now, the schools want you to, at the age of 14 to 16, roughly around that age, they want you to get some kind of grades in the form of a GCSE or the American or Canadian equivalent. They want you to get those grades and then move you on to whatever college or university as you're going on. So there are children that want to go down that path.
Okay.
And will want to go down that path. So we have to we do those core curricular subjects. So we do the maths, English, science, IT, and geography.
Okay.
I must say though, even with the English, we are coming from a perspective that most of us here are actually coming from African peoples. So even with the English, we want to use some African texts. Even if we're doing our handwriting, we might be saying some positive, we might be writing positive affirmations. So the English even will be a little bit revamped up, to cater for the kind of world we're living in now. And the science as well. So even in the science, we'll teach them, yes, that, the main things that we learn in science, but we want to open up their mind because things are discovered and new information comes about all the time, where we realize sometimes that we were wrong about something, or we didn't look into something as much, or something was already decided on how many hundreds of years ago, and no one's re-looked it. So we want to have the children, look at science from a very open perspective.
I like that.
There's round, the earth is a sphere, but could it be flat? Is this just a fairy? Is that, so we want to give them much more of a broad mindset, so they have an open mind to try and
investigate different things.
This world instead of just being told this is it.
Which I think is great, because at the end of the day, the world's not stopping; it's still growing and changing as we move. So nothing is. You have facts. You might have facts, yes, but those facts can also change as other things in life change, as we grow as individuals. The world grows, the world doesn't stop. So
how can we still be learning the exact same information hundreds of years later? Obviously there must be new knowledge coming about. So that's why we want them to, have a more open mind to the way that they're thinking. So even with the core subjects, we still encourage that within the core subjects. And then we do the skill subjects. So we do agriculture because it's important. Everyone's talking about sustainability. We are here in Africa, in a country that is not doing enough agriculture, really, for the amount of agricultural land that we have here. So we teach them agriculture, basic farming that they can do, you know, micro gardening and stuff, things that they can take home and do it at home, you know. They grow papaya, tomato, lettuce, mint, all sorts of fruits, bananas, planting, and then we eat them. You know, we can eat them at school, which is quite nice as well. So they can see the fruit of their labours.
So that's still science, though, when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Agriculture is still science. And then we also do carpentry with them. Some hands-on stuff. It helps them to release some of their creativity. And some of them are actually very skilled in the carpentry and might look, you know, towards that as a future career. And then, you know, we do martial arts with them. They go through their kung fu grading here at the school. And then they do performing arts, swimming, and entrepreneurship, because it is very important. That's one of our big things at this school, that children learn how to be entrepreneurs, how to develop on their own ideas, start their own business, know how to do basic bookkeeping, know how to try and sell a product, just understand the basics and have the experience of running their own business. So we make them do different business projects every year, where, you know, they take different roles on. So one will be the director of the business or the CEO. Then they will have the secretary, they'll have the finance team, they'll have the marketing team. So they'll have the media team. So they have all different, they're set into different teams, and then they have to pull together, have meetings and accomplish the goal. We usually give them a budget. And so a lot of them are used to running their own little businesses. So in this school, it is very common to come in the morning, and there'll be a child selling pancakes, a child selling cake, someone who sells wonjo, someone who sells pencils, you know, the children will be like, oh, you know, there'll be even children that loan things, have their own little loaning companies. Oh, I loan my computer bits, and, you know, I loan money so that you can pay back this person for all the food you've been buying from them, you know. So
that's good.
so it's good because, you know, even the other day one of my sons, he decided he wanted to do a pizza business in school. But he said, oh, I don't know if this pizza business is going to work. He needs to use my computer. And then by the time I looked at what he was doing on my computer, this boy was writing his own pizza feasibility business report, you know, to see who's his clients, how much of them can afford to buy the pizza. He was doing all of that, you know. So we want that to be second nature.
And how old is he?
10. So what I found is that in regular schools, we're kind of being educated to work for people, not to have our own business going for us. So most of us who went through that regular schooling system will end up being an employee. And then you find that people that went through skills, a lot of them are skills education. A lot of them tend to go into their own thing, you know, which, you know, I think, you know, we need employees and we need employers, but we don't want to let the children think that you can only be an employee. We want to give them just, you know, because it takes a lot of character and brave. You know, you have to be kind of brave to stand alone and say, right, this product, you know, I'm vouched for it. I tried it out and it was my idea and I'm going to, you know, that takes a lot of courage. But if they've been doing that from their schooling life, I mean, we take them from 6 and they start doing entrepreneurship when they're 7, 8. Now, if they're doing that from their 7, 8, that's just second nature.
Exactly. You know? Just like adding 2 + 2 would be second nature. So
for them, you know, I love it. They're not gonna, you know, they're gonna want to do their own thing. They're gonna want to be someone big. So like, and then the other thing, the kind of last 2 things that we teach is personal development, because it is imperative to schooling. You know, some children, like you were saying, with some of the children, they're going through stuff and there's no avenue in school necessarily to tackle some of those things, which could help them with their behaviour in school. You know. And then we also do our story instead of his story. You know, obviously we go to school, we learn history or his story, but we are doing our story. So we're doing history from more of an African perspective. So we're teaching world history, but we also always have to touch on, and we always have to focus in on what is the African perspective and what was Africa doing during this time. You know, so it's very important, and it's very important for them to see the great people that Africans are, because all the time we're always sold the story of how we're less than everybody else, or we're in a lesser position than everybody else, and they don't actually realize that some of us are doing so amazingly. So even this week I had one of my classes, we done just Black inventors and scientists. This is a class that we do throughout the term every now and then. And one of the little boys who's quite new, he only started this term. So I was asking, what do Black people, what do African people create? And one little boy, he said, nothing. Oh, African people don't create anything because they are not intelligent enough and they are too poor. They have not enough money. That's what he said.
Oh,
so
that's
already, and that boy's a 10-year-old as well. Yeah. And already from a 10-year-old perspective,
that's what
his experience of life has already told him that him as a Black boy,
there's nothing
these people
for him.
are not intelligent enough to have created anything. So then we went and, you know, I done this whole exercise where I gave them these books and these posters that were all about African inventors. And then I gave them a quiz to do together, like find out who created the refrigerator, what was his name, and you know. And then after doing all of that, and then the feedback at the end, you know, the little boys, I didn't know that it was first the Black man who done the freezer or done the bicycle, or you know, he didn't know any of that. And he's like, now I know that I can do anything. I said, that's right. You know, so just little things like that that we don't usually get in a regular school. Just, you know, to tackle that kind of self-loathing. It's not even self-loathing, but you know, just the narrative. It's just
there's no exactly. There's no understanding that we can be more.
Yeah,
you know. And
it's so sad that from that age we already have been fed that narrative so much that we believe that nothing comes from us, and there is so much that comes from us.
Oh my goodness.
You know, when he was there and he was learning about Joseph Emeagwali, the guy who's in 1978, he's the one who set up the whole system that the internet now relies that we need to have the internet.
I was waiting for who you were going to say, because I was like, I don't even know who that is.
You know, and when people started finding out about him, all that we started hearing was about who created Google, but Google is not the processor. If without that processor that Emeagwali created, the Nigerian man, then there would be no platform for Google to sit on. You see? And we're not taught that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that, so I just learned that today.
I
was 28 years old when I learned that.
Sorry, it's not easy.
No, I mean, I know that. I used to work in school, and plus I was a nanny.
Yeah, exactly.
I've worked with children for a long time.
All right, how do I press it?
No, I already started it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I got this one. I'm trying to up the things there.
Well done.
I love that, genuinely, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's so much. And, you know, obviously because of slavery, you know, however that happened, we still are not sure, because the truth is that's still another story told to us. But because of all of that and us not having our own African names, a lot of us, and sometimes you might hear Thomas this, done that, or and you might not, and just because of the narrative that's always fed about Black people, you won't actually realise that that was actually a Black man.
And especially because I know, I don't know if it was just Black people in general across the world, wherever they may have been, or if it was just in America, but if a Black person did invent something, then they weren't allowed to forward it through the patterns and whatnot. So then a white man would take it on, and then that's it. And the Black man goes into the shadows. No one even knows about him, or Black lady, or whatever. So then it's just missed and never known.
Exactly. So so we want to, want them to have a positive narrative about themselves, and know about the great accomplishments that their people have actually done.
Yeah.
You know, and then it will just empower them to do something great.
Yeah.
You know, so this is so really that's what the school's doing. So
I love it.
yeah.
So you were mentioning the age group. What is the age group of the children that you have?
So the age group now, we start from 6 and we go up to 14 years old.
Okay.
After 14 they kind of leave us and they might go into another school to do their grades, or some of them have gone and done online and done their grades if their parents haven't found something that they felt was suitable for them after coming to be in a school like this. Some parents have said to me that this school is a good move on from a Montessori type of school, that kind of free mind learning, even though, you know, they still have to sit quietly, they still have to do their maths, they still have to, you know, but
can't just be running around free.
You know, we do, you know, we are very free with them, but at the same time we still expect them to have discipline of character for themselves, you know, because this is a quality that you possess in life.
And you're still going to need that once you leave school anyway. Because the wide world is not going to it's not catering. But
you know, things like martial arts as well, it really instills a lot of discipline in them, and you know, that personal drive to get better and better, just on an individual basis, because it's not a team sport. Really, it's like pushing yourself, and then it is extremely disciplined. And martial arts over here in Gambia is a big thumbs up, because you know they've got a lot of great martial arts academies. Smart Academy are the ones that send trainers for our school, and they're very amazing. And you know, every year they have these big gradings, and just, you know, they have these big Chinese dragons and stuff, and all this stuff come over, you know, sponsored by whatever. And then you'll see all the teams come from all over the country and sometimes from other countries, and showcase their forms of martial arts. So it's quite a nice sport for parents who are interested to put their child in Gambia.
I didn't know that. Actually, you mentioning the martial arts and also what you mentioned before with the entrepreneurship. The last video that I did where I was at this school the last time, that was what the children had put together, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So if you see, I will tag it in the description box below if you want to watch it. If you see the last video where I was at the school and they were doing their martial arts, and also had like a talent show, but also had other people, vendors here, they were selling things and everything. The children had actually put that all together. So you can see a product of what they've been learning here at the school on my channel. So there was some other things. So what is a typical day? Like, what time do you start? What time do you finish?
Okay, so we start at 9:30 and we finish at 4, except for one day a week where we finish quite late, but that's because we travel to swimming. It is imperative that children who live in places like Gambia, where it's, you know, you're living right on the Atlantic Ocean, which is quite very dangerous, that sea out there. And then, you know, everywhere there's the River Gambia, or there's little rivers everywhere. You know, our children need to learn how to swim, and we need to end that narrative that black people don't swim.
It's true. Yeah, because even me, to be honest, I was at primary school, learned how to swim, and left primary school, never swam again.
You see what I'm saying? So it is important for us.
And I do want to learn. Even my mum, she started learning again.
She did. She told me.
So that's something I need to do.
I remember my mum started learning when she was in her 50s. She decided, her and my auntie, they went out, got themselves swimming costume. We're going to learn to swim now. You know, and it's never too late.
And never. I don't think anything in life is too late to start, to be fair. I'm quite an advocate for that. I'm trying to think, there was something else I wanted to ask you. So we've gone through the ages. How can anyone find out about admission and just get in contact with you if they're interested to know more, or can they come for visits to the school, all of that kind of stuff? So
they can, we're online, TM Tutoring, .co.site. So you can go and check out what we're doing there. We're also on Facebook as TM Tutoring or Tehuti Maat School. Tehuti Maat as in, you know, the Egyptian principles of Tehuti, wisdom, knowledge and understanding, and Mahat, justice, truth and righteousness. So if you look that up, Tehuti Maat School, Gambia, then you should find us on Facebook and on Instagram. You could give us a call and come down and visit if you're interested in enrolling your child.
And you're on WhatsApp, isn't it?
Yes.
So anyone internationally wants to get in touch can get in touch via WhatsApp.
Yes, via WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to leave the number.
I'll put all the details in the description box below, so you can look there and find the number, the website. So I'll put all the links as well. I think that's it.
Yes, thank you for coming down.
I can't think of anything else. So thank you so much,
thank
Grace.
you,
Finally got it done.
Finally.
Got it done. So what I'm going to do now is talk to some of the children, but I'm going to put it into a separate video. So there's going to be this video. And if you want to know, see the video where I'm going to speak to some of the children about their experiences living here, not working here because they're children, but living here, where I suppose working in school, and just their life at school as well. So we're going to talk about that. So if you want to watch that, there's going to be the next video after this one. But if not, I'll see you in my next video. And thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you so much for coming to see us.
And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.